Morning tax dodgers. What we're going to talk about today, especially in your Holden V8, but also it happens in your little Windsor Fords, is water leaks at the back of the timing cover. You might notice sometimes that you're losing a bit of water. You might just notice one day that you can see a stain like we have here on the timing cover. And what you'll find when you take it off, you'll find what's known as cavitation or straight current electrolysis. It happens more in your engine with your softer metals, so it doesn't attack your cylinder heads or your block. It'll go for the softer materials like the aluminium timing covers. If you add an aluminium head, the cavitation straight current always goes for the weakest link. So as you would have seen in the photo where the cavitation has almost eaten completely through the timing cover, was what the leak was. So once we got that off, we investigated it, and then you just go purchase a new timing cover. But what causes it, what causes cavitation, is the lack in your mechanical pumps. Is they actually beat the water rather than pressurise the water. They do pump to a degree, but they're not the most efficient pump in the world. You'll find your electric water pumps are more efficient, so you have least cavitation. And that's what it is. It's when the water gets beaten, it creates little air bubbles. The air bubbles go to the highest point, and they're moving at quite some pressure, and they just literally eat away the aluminium as they hit it and beat it up, just like the ocean does to a rock. Just give it time, it will wear it out. And the other thing that it happens is a thing known as straight current, and that's more prevalent in your modern car than your older cars, basically because there's more electrical components on your modern engine as to your older engine. So you need more and more earths, and there's not a sufficient amount of earth to stop the straight current. So you find it more prevalent in a modern car than an older car. But it's a very simple thing to measure. You just get your multimeter, touch the negative to earth, put the positive into the water, and it will read straight current. And I'll let you know how many volts are actually travelling through your cooling system. And the other thing that will happen is, as you see on the water pump here, you have this build-up when you take it off on the hose connections. What that is, that's coolant that's escaped through the clamp, and then it begins to grow, you know, like rust, like a cancer. When you're applying your new connections and your new hoses, because it gets inside the hoses as well. You can use, old people used to use a smear of Vaseline, which would stop it, but it used to also make the hoses a bit slippery, and if you've got a pressure problem, it would blow them off. What we use today is a non-hardening paste, like a what's known as aircraft sealant or number 3 Permatex. It goes on, never goes hard, but it gives a seal and stops the coolant from getting in between the hose and the hose clamp and creating that problem, which causes another problem further down the line. And the other thing to look for when you're taking your front off your motor, whether it be a Holden or a little Ford Windsor, is check your timing chain. While you're there, it's quite prevalent that the chain will stretch, and you'll get timing chain here, and you'll see it'll have a little looseness in it. Spend the extra amount of money and change it while you're there. You'll find your engine will perform better, because you could have anything up to 4 or 5 degrees of variance in your timing just in the looseness of the chain. For a few dollars, not a problem. Set your timing marks up top dead center, follow the instructions, and put it back together again.